All right, welcome to Mr. Miller's Woodshop podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Miller. Thanks for tuning in. If you are on video, I'm going to be doing some hat switches today, talking about some of the things that I learned out at AWFS in Las Vegas. But first, I got to take a moment to thank our sponsors, Safety Speed Manufacturing out of Ham Lake, Minnesota. A big reason why I was able to go to AWFS was because Safety Speed covered a lot of the expenses to get me down there, and that is just so wonderful. If you've got an industry partner like that, cherish them, nurture that relationship, treat them well. And if you have a high school shop teacher in your area that could benefit from going to things like that, it could be as simple as covering some meals. I mean, it was nice, but I'm buddies with the Safety Speed guys. They send me a text, hey, we're going to dinner here, we're going to breakfast there. You don't get into teaching for the money. So when it's hey, we'll cover your $40 meal, that's a pretty cool thing. So check out Safety Speed Manufacturing, their Flagstaff panel saw. They've got a wide belt sander available in 37 and 43 inches. They've got an edge bander, two models, a hot air and a glue pot, as well as several screw pocket machines. So we were talking about AWFS, the Association of Woodworking and Furnishing Suppliers. I think I've got that right. It was my first time, so forgive me. But I just want to underscore the importance of teachers getting there. If you're an administrator, if you're my administrator, next year is going to be more challenging as it is in the end of August. Luckily in Minnesota, we don't start until after Labor Day, and so we will actually miss that. That'll be the next year. IWF is the last week of August, and we start school that following week. So I should be able to make it to IWF pending any kind of personal catastrophes or not being able to fund the trip down there. And so hopefully that will not happen. So hopefully this podcast takes off and we get more subscribers and sponsors and things like that. So I'll back up here a moment. I was asked to present with Mark Smith, the 2024 Wood Educator of the Year, and Molly Turner on a panel of teachers talking about bringing your curriculum into the 21st century. It was a great I was grateful. I was flattered to be asked to be on this panel because it was something I'd never done before. I mean, I've spoken at teacher fairs and things like that before, but never on a panel, never sitting down, and it was right away in the conference. So I got into Vegas on Monday night, took pretty much the whole afternoon to travel down there, and don't have much money to rub together, so I'm not gambling. I've got another kid on the way and 3 little ones already, so I'm not going to waste money at any slot machines or blackjack tables. Not really my style anyway. So I get down there. It is literally 100 degrees, but it's a dry heat, right? And believe it or not, even for Minnesota, I don't mind the heat. And so when I got down there, I was like, this is kind of sweet. I walked to the convention center. It was about a mile from my hotel. And I just wanted to see if I could physically do it without sweating all that much. And I did it no problem. So I'm grateful I've got, I'm healthy. And so it's not like I got there and I was soaking wet with sweat. I was able to get, that mile in. I was good. And the convention center was open. So I was able to get in, see the registration booth and materials. I grabbed I got them all right here. If you're on video, hope you like my hat. I'll talk about that in a minute here. But I grabbed a stack of magazines, Fine Woodworking, Service and Panel, Closets and Storage, FDMC, the pre-show planner, which was really nice. Popular Woodworking, another Popular Woodworking, Wood Industry Business Magazine. I mean, I just eat this stuff alive. And so that was my evening that night, was reading through the magazines while I was chilling out in my hotel room. But it's kind of neat. I mean, I'm a pretty tenacious guy, but I was able to get down there, and rather than go and sit by the pool or go gamble or do any of the other stuff available in Vegas, I wanted to check it out. And so if you're a teacher, like, that tenacity can really give you a leg up, because then when I got there the next day, I was ready to go. I did ask a security guard if I could go in to the convention hall just to see some of the booth setups, because I was able to, doors were open. I mean, you can see in there, but there was a guard standing there protecting, millions of dollars of equipment, and totally understand he didn't want to let me in, but hey, can't hurt to ask, right? So go back to my hotel, and I had some time, so I did check out the pool. But and really, that's what I was really looking forward to as far as like some relaxation time. But it was still light out, still 100 degrees. Walked in there, and the building was so big that it actually shaded the entire pool. And my goal was to have some sunshine and get a little bit of a suntan and vitamin D, but it just didn't. It's like I don't know. I don't have a good reference or descripting point for 100 degrees in the shade, being from Minnesota, but just wasn't my cup of tea. So hadn't really eaten all day at this point either. So went and checked out Charlie's diner. Fine, big old greasy hamburger and tater tots. It was the cheapest thing on the menu. I did splurge for the cheese because that was an extra like 50 cents, but like it was just their um, local like sports bar place. And what was cool is it was quick, and so I was able to get back into my hotel room, and I got to sleep early that night just so I could be full energy for that next day. Because right away in the morning, would have been July 22nd, the very first day of the conference, I am presenting. The show starts at 9, 8 or 9, I guess I can't really remember. But at 10, I'm presenting. And so I'm communicating with Mark and Molly, my co-panelists, about when to be there, who's going to have the sheet and whatnot. And so got that taken care of. And it was kind of cool. They had a room set up for speakers, so I was able to get a little bit of a breakfast. And it was bread and granola bars, but it was something, right? I'm an intermittent fasting guy, so it was not like looking for breakfast, but I'm nervous. I had no idea how many people are going to be there. Definitely a coffee guy, so got my coffee. Nothing really to stand out about, but I mean, it's free. And in Vegas, it basically is the fact where you don't eat for less than $40, and that's a pretty tall bill for a teacher with a stay-at-home mom and 3 kids and one on the way. So that was cool. Then I got good advice from George Von Driska on how to handle these shows. And so he recommended doing what he calls a fast walk of the facility and not really stopping anywhere, just kind of looking at your key points that you thought, kind of walk the aisles, try not to talk to too many people, and just kind of make some mental notes on where you'll come back to. And really bummed I lost my piece of paper that had all my stuff that I wanted to do. And I'm just going to double check here because I anticipated that being my notes for my podcast here. But all the things that I had fit into there, was kind of my guiding light. I just wanted one sheet of paper in my pocket to walk the floor. And if I'm rewatching this in years to come, like, this was awesome. On one side, I had the floor plan with circled who I want to see and their names. And I kind of had a day of like how I'm going to approach this, because my only other reference was the International Woodworking Fair in Atlanta, the 2024. And that place was huge. You can't walk it in a day. But AWFS was considerably smaller. A lot of the bigger machinery organizations weren't there. And so it was really a lot smaller. And you can go as detailed as you want, even in small shows like this. Like the Minnesota Woodworkers Guild has a show every fall. And I was there probably the whole time. Didn't spend much time at the tool swap, but I wanted to talk to all the vendors. And I went with the local woodworker. And he was an older guy, and he went and looked at everything. And I also went with my dad and Kurt, the guy who volunteers at our school here. And my dad tells me that this woodworker says, oh, boy, I was ready to leave an hour ago, but Bobby's got to talk to everybody for like 10 minutes. And well, yes, that's the point, right? I'm not just going to grab a new saw stop hat and get out of there. Like, I'm actually looking to try to achieve something. And if you're checking me out right now, I'm putting on the saw stop hat. It doesn't fit my head all that well. I've got a very large head for a very average kind of sized person. All my motorcycle helmets growing up were always double XL, and it's just proportionally, it doesn't really work all that well. But anyway, long story longer, do the fast walk, get to my session. I'm actually going to put the CRHS hat back on. I'm not loving that soft stop hat. I don't want to get a headache just sitting here on my lunch break. But yes, fast walk's done. Get to my presentation. We check out microphone. The show people were very professional. They had it down. They had, technology was working. It was working so well that the guy that Mark travels with was actually looking up at our presentation, and he's like, he had a couple typos and things like that. And he's a pastor, and so he's a very good communicator. And he's just noticing these little things that us shop teachers just overlook. And so it was nice to be able to fix that and have that handled. But was really kind of bummed. There was only 13 people that came to our session. And that's nothing against the show. They posted lots of stuff on their social media where they had rooms filled up. The Cabinet Makers Association was standing room only. But only 13. But if I look at the title, Bringing Your Curriculum into the 21st Century, that's a very niche thing. So I understand that. And this show is for educators, but it's really where commerce is taking place between businesses. So all the B2B commerce is happening on the floor and deals are being made, and they're really not there to support education, but it's a nice afterthought, I guess. I mean, I'm not phrasing this right. They're there for great reasons, but they're businessmen, and so they're trying to advance on that front. So totally understand why they're not showing up to the meetings, but I guess I was anticipating more, and so it was kind of nice because then it just kind of became a conversation. The presentation itself went really well. We spoke for an hour and a half. My big time thing is using phones, right? And so I went through all the nitty gritty of how we use phones at Coon Rapids High School. And I'll have a lot more to say on that in the podcasts to follow coming this year, but it's a controversial new teaching method that most people just don't know anything about it. There's no name to it. It's just the ultimate form of differentiation. If you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about, I've done a couple podcasts on using QR codes in my classroom. So basically a student can take their cell phone camera, scan a QR code, see the instructional demonstration I would give live, or here's how you use this specific tool or machine, get that information in their head, and then go and do it. It's a way of cloning myself, so I showed that. But yeah, we talked about that. We talked about marketing your program. That's where Mark Smith is really good at, how to market, and I do it too. That's what I'm doing right here. I'm not doing this for fun during my lunch break. I'm trying to market our program so that we can have some of the stuff documented of how a successful shop goes and how we can improve and get better. And I got better. What I really like about it, my session being right away, is that I get it out of the way and I can go and be the learner. So talk marketing, talk some more technology, AI, Google Suites, Dropbox, AutoCAD, Microvellum, specialty safety features. I mean, we brought the house, and I'm really proud of what Mark, Molly, and I put together. And what's really cool is just working with those two brilliant people is that I have so much more now I'm bringing back to my classroom based off the presentation that we gave, because I was just in proximity to be around two professionals in my industry. Talked about certifications, Skills USA, National Woods Board, WCA, all the letters you can possibly think of, the benefits of trade shows, LinkedIn, lean manufacturing. We talked about field trips that we've taken, strategies in the new age of how, personally, I'm going on paternity leave around the new year, and I want my industry partners to be my substitutes. I want them, I'll have a full podcast on this in a few weeks when I rev up for this, but I want to tour egg manufacturing. I want to tour Interscapes. I want to tour all these places that we probably couldn't drive to. So I'm looking more nationally for getting this set up. So more on that later, but talk about that idea and how field trips are a lot more available now, and a lot of companies are willing to host them. So that was our presentation. I think it went really well. After that, had planned to meet up with Avery Pipkin. He is a rock star woodworking teacher out of North Carolina. What's really funny is I think him and I look a lot alike, and we're younger. I think he's like 10 years younger than me, but I still consider myself in his crew. And his school is called Cedar Ridge High School. My school is called Coon Rapids High School, CRHS. If you're looking on the video, you can see it very boldly. CRHS is our acronym here. It's his acronym all the way in North Carolina. He's a rock star woodworking teacher. So why not make hats that say CRHS Woodworking? When I saw that he had that, I commented on one of his posts and told him I'd buy him lunch if he gets me one of those hats. And on the first day of the conference, I feel so bad about this, Avery. And if you're watching this or listening to this, like I've got a plan to make it up to you. Okay, just give me some time here while the school year starts, and I'm gonna get you set up with some more CR gear because our schedules didn't align. We had different things, and totally understand we're busy. He had students down there, and so two of his students were competing in the fresh wood competition. I think it's a shame that they didn't win because their stuff was top tier, and I hate hearing the better luck next year. It's like kids are graduating. This is not for the teacher. I know it's not for him. He'll be excited about it, but it's for those kids. But anyway, it was cool to see him. We met at the Woodwork Career Alliance booth. I had a certificate to present to the WCA for recognition and thanking them for their industry support because they are another big reason why I went there. I should almost say, we'll just call it this. Our next sponsor for this podcast here is the Woodwork Career Alliance because they handed out a grant to teachers who were traveling to the show to help make up for those expenses that the show didn't cover. I'm grateful the show covered my flight and part of my hotel, but really the rest was up onto me. And if it was just that, I would not have been in Las Vegas. I would not have worked at Safety Speed over the summer. I would have been building decks in the South Metro here in Minnesota, not advancing my classroom, not getting any better. I know how to build a deck. It would just be making some money with my brawn to try to, I don't know, feed my family, I guess. But that's what made it possible. It made the summer gig possible. And so that was really, really cool. So from the bottom of my heart, sincerely, thank you. So WCA, Woodwork Career Alliance. From there, I had some floor time. Had lunch with Mark Smith and his predecessor. No, his what's the opposite of predecessor? His replacement. So Adam Mockles had lunch with those two guys and Scott, the guy they travel with. They're a fun crew. They are. It was awesome to have lunch with them. I think the world of those guys, and it was good to get to know Adam because he brings a different flair. But he was hired. So those of you guys don't know, Mark Smith, Woodworking Teacher of the Year in 2024. He announced his retirement, and his school and district actually hired his replacement for him to shadow Mark his last year of teaching, which is unheard of. He comes from a smaller district, so I think decisions like that can be made a little bit easier, but that also means that smaller district doesn't have the funds to do that. So I am shocked that that was able to happen. But the reason why is because Mark does all this, and like his program brings in a lot of donations, and so he keeps his superiors happy, and that's just what I'm learning because I took a ton of notes on gaining and sustaining industry support. That was a session that he gave later that day, and it was phenomenal. I mean, him and I have talked and worked together, and so a lot of this was review. I'm doing a lot of this, but then it just kind of pings other ideas of like, wow, he brings administrators on field trips. Why didn't I ever think of inviting them? So stuff like that. Having a box press kit, because I've had a lot of people reach out about this. Like we probably get it now every other month where there's some sort of publication asking to do a story, and like, awesome, cool. And I just kind of whatever we're working on then, but like having an actual press kit is a good idea. Websites, things like I took a ton of notes. It was awesome. So yeah, the afternoon kind of had some more stuff to do kind of on that front. I don't really remember what I had going on that evening. Oh, actually, I had dinner with a couple other shop teachers at well, I don't remember, Resorts World or something. It was just another little greasy sports bar that took a long time to get our food. And at this point, like I had breakfast and lunch, but like it was like 9 o'clock, and I'm just starved and a little bit of a headache and just want some food. And it was awesome talking shop with these other shop teachers because we got the best stories. All right, and I'm not going to share all of them that they shared with me, but I mean, we all have some stuff that we do is kind of borderline like, whoa, that's a little crazy. And one guy just shared like if students misbehaving, he'll take a student's project and screw it to the wall. I'm like, that is so great. And I talked about how I'll take a project from years past and smash it on the ground. And it's yeah, it's a little crazy, but I've checked with my admin and it doesn't hurt anybody. I warned the kids who are sitting close by what's going on. So yeah, that was a fun hang. One guy was from the AWI, the Architectural Woodwork Institute. Saul Martin, I think his name is. Great guy. Had some stuff to collaborate with him on. Working towards, I got their consolation grant this year, but got some tips and tricks, and it was just fun. Just fun hanging with those guys. We parted ways. I headed back to the hotel, chilled out. Next day was my really big day on the floor. So that Wednesday, that second day of the show, I had a full morning up until about 2 o'clock until I actually needed to be somewhere learning in a session, an educational session. So I had the whole time to walk the floor and I was doing what the people said. So I'm going to put on one hat right now. I'm not going to say the name of the company. They did not award us one of the competitions that we did not win. We applied for it, but we had the most applications for it, but we didn't win. It's okay. Don't mind consolation prizes. And I actually approached them while I was wearing their competitor's shirt, and he thought I was an employee, and so he started talking shop, and I explained who I was, and he's like, "Oh, wait, yeah, okay, I know." And this is the head of the company, and they had some bags out and some plans to go with them. I'm like, boy, these are awfully close to what I produced last year. And like, what's going on here? I didn't say that though, but I just told them like, I want to try your product. I never tried it. Had a similar model in a cabinet shop that I worked at probably in 2019, 2018, somewhere in there. And he's like, yeah, go ahead, go for it. And I tried it, and I got his little sticker. I've still got it here. If you're on video, we can check this out. I've got some other stuff here too. But here's what I made. I was so proud of it. If you're not on video right now, that's it's kind of on you. So that was cool. I went around to all my industry supporters and thanked them. So I had these certificates printed out on behalf of our students. Thank you. Supporting Cardinal Nation. Had the Cardinal bird on there, had it in full color. I actually had my wife and daughter laminate them, which was really neat and special. So walked around to them. One of them was Type Bond. Type Bond donates to the WCA. They're like a gold sponsor. And I thought this was so funny. I'm holding up a tube of chapstick, and on their booth table, they had their glues, Type Bond 1, 2, and 3, some of their other specialty glues. They're right next to Franklin Adhesives, which is their parent company. And then they also had these chapsticks right next to the glues that they sell. And I thought, that is so darn cool. I need that. I want that. Can I have that? And so I got one of these. And there's a great picture taken with one of their employees and me with the certificate. And I look like a doof just holding up the tube of chapstick, but I just couldn't stop laughing at it. It was just great. And walked around to the rest of my industry. I had altogether 11 certificates to hand out. Aqua Code, Safety Speed, National Woods Board, IWF. I'm trying to think of who else. Um, but it was really, really nice to go around and meet with them. And everybody likes to get a thank you. And so I'm going to go a little bit more big time. And if I really think about it, I probably had 5 more that I missed that I should have, that have either donated stuff or just knowledge. Sometimes it's just me calling their HR person and be like, I can't figure this out. I have 5 minutes till kids come in. Can you help me? And they're like, yeah, no problem. What do you got going on? So I'm going to take this hat off. It's getting uncomfortable. Going to put on this next hat because I'm potentially going to be joining the National Woods Board, which is a national board of industry leaders. And so they're in the wood industry, and their goal is to bridge the divide between education and the wood industry. And so I'm going to be the third, maybe like second and a half teacher to join the board. And being on that board and just the contacts that board has in the educational sphere is second to none, because then us teachers get talking and we start to discuss, oh, wow, hey, this company, Grex USA, Grex Tools makes the best micro pinners around. I'm like, never even heard of them. Are they foreign? They're like, no, they're domestic. They are bright green. They're awesome. They have a cool hat. And so checked out their booth, walked there with a couple teachers. It was phenomenal. And going to reach out. I'm sure they're busy after the show taking on orders, and I'm small fry, and I'm going to be asking for support. And so I guess I should be doing that right now, but I'm talking to you guys instead. But I'll make that call, get some micro pinners, because right now we're just using 18 gauge. And if you're not familiar with that, 18 gauge brad nail leaves a great big hole in your wood that you need to come back and fill. 23 gauge, even though it's a bigger number, is actually a smaller hole. And so you're able to either not fill the hole and make it blend in, or you're just using far less product for the same holding power, as long as you've got glue in that joint. So block that day. Safety Speed covered that lunch that day, which was so cool because he also sent me out with 2 other National Woods Board's members, John Letourneau and Dean Matson. John, I know. He's local here. He's the Anoka Area Chamber of Commerce. He's the chairman of the board of the National Woods Board, and just all around good guy. He's helped out with manufacturing days for Anoka Hennepin students, and just world-class guy. Dean Matson, I knew a little bit about him. We had a Google Meet or something like that where I was introduced to him, and I do my homework before I go on these adventures. And so on that meet, he asked, do you have any understanding of my history? And I'm like, yeah, you're the founder of the mill. You're the shop teacher that grew this thing when every other program was getting cut. And so I obviously think the world of him, and just the opportunity to have a sit-down lunch with him was awesome. But it's really neat because John is by practice, a career coach, an executive coach, something like that. I mean, he is a very powerful mover and shaker, and Dean is the same way. And so the secretary of the National Woods Board was actually the one to be controlling the schedules, which is really kind of nice, because then I feel like access to them can be almost a little bit better, because then all I need to do is convince their secretary to get a lunch with them and not, appeal to them directly. But they were the ones that encouraged, like, get on the schedule with Amanda. And so got on the schedule and had lunch. And the waitress kind of called me out on this, because we go for lunch. They're like, oh, the salad sounds good. And, John was having soup, and I saw lasagna on there. Like, 1, love lasagna. 2, takes a long time to make, so I can extend this lunch so we're not just eating and running back to the show. I wanted to mine as much information out of them and tell them about who I am as well. And so the waitress is like, that takes like 45 minutes to cook. And I was just about to say that's okay. But Dean actually was like, that's no problem. And so that's cool. And just, I don't know, I'm a stickler for these little details. And so the lunch was awesome. And I think it was kind of a vetting process on their end to just see, like, who is this guy that is going to be on the board? And at times controversial and push the envelope and try to do that in a respectful way as much as I can, because the bottom line is I'm doing what's best for kids. I'm not going to do what's best for your company. Sometimes it's going to cost your company money, to take a day off, to host us, to make a field trip, to move stuff out of the way, to slow production. Like most of the times when I ask industry, like it costs them their bottom line. But if we're able to do things for kids, I don't mind being the advocate for that. And a lot of the industry partners would be like, ask more, we can help. Like we need the people, so we're willing to help. So lunch was great. Another really cool thing is they were getting to know me. They discovered like, oh wow, he's a Christian guy. His faith is important. He's got a big growing family, and so I kind of established my boundaries. I told them like, happy to have lunch with you guys, not having dinner if we're going to some crazy place. Like I'm in Vegas, but for woodworking only, and they're kind of like, yep, us too. And then Dean kind of shared his testimony, and he was cool enough to pray over lunch that day, and that was just so refreshing. And the rest of our conversation based off our location being in Sin City after all, and my wife was very happy to hear that because she's supportive, she's totally trusting. We have the best relationship I could possibly imagine. I mean, we have a fourth kid on the way, so do the math, but it was encouraging for me to tell her because it's like, what are you doing? We were just a little shop teacher at this, high school one town over, and now you're in Las Vegas and meeting with these big national organizations. And like that, it's still a good thing. So that's really cool. So lunch was good. Had some sessions in the afternoon, and this was just awesome because they talked Skills USA, talked AWI, VitalLink, Rich Alou Hardware, and so I connected with him, and he helps teachers who are motivated as well. And so I've generated a ton of leads. Okay, Microvellum has, I got more on that, but CADmaster also offered to donate another seat of software. And it's like, oh, why do you need two different softwares? Like easy, one is AutoCAD based, one is not. And so it will show the two different styles to students for free, which is ultimately probably like close to $50,000 with the donation. Yeah, it was good information that afternoon. Learned about signing days, things like that. And this was kind of nice because those sessions were blended, and one of them was not even for education. It was beyond the algorithm. I kind of thought I'll join this one for Safety Speed because I'm doing some of their marketing online, and so like discovering the algorithms and Reddit and B2B, e-commerce, things like that, like stuff I don't know about, but like I got an opportunity with an expert for an hour to learn about it. Like that was just so cool. Running out of time here. I've got 9 minutes until my training starts, but my last day was great. I missed the educator field trip, which I really picked myself on, but I was only able to really join for like a half hour anyway because I was working the National Woods Board booth as a guest of Brian Donahue and potential future member of the board. That was cool. Talked to some people. That afternoon, AI for education. That was really cool, just discovering different apps using AI to either make apps or to help kids with project constructions. Like this is like, if you ever seen The Waterboy, like the golden playbook that coach had, like this is it right now based off what I learned that afternoon with algorithms, AI. Like 15 years ago, I was ranking my friends on MySpace. Now I'm looking at algorithms, ChatGPT, Claude, all kinds of other stuff, like how we can make the world a better place and connect industry and education. Went back up Wednesday night, offered to join the State Speed guys for dinner. Very grateful. They went to a steakhouse that I would never set foot in, alone because of the price. And they're like, yeah, we'll cover it. Oh, and George is going to join us. And George at Safety Speed, George Von Driscoll. He's a neighbor of Brian Donahue's. And I'm like, oh, okay, like a childhood hero is going to join me for dinner. How awesome is that? So that was cool. Dinner Thursday night turned into just the after party of the Microvellum Mixer happy hour. And that was cool. And I'm running out of time here, but I've got something going on right now that I don't think has ever happened between education and industry, because it hasn't existed. And so I'll probably do a full podcast on that here in the weeks to come about the new end table that we're bringing to Coon Rapids High School and potentially across the nation. So talk with some guys there. Had a nice conversation with the head of marketing in Microvellum. He was one of the ones trying to advocate for the donation to come to Coon Rapids High School. And I just kind of shared my boo-hoos about that. And he's, just a wonderful person. And so he asked, so where are you staying? You enjoying the show? You handling the heat okay? You're Minnesotan? And like, yes, fine. Like, I'm good. And he asked, like, well, where are you heading to dinner tonight? And I told him, like, the hors d'oeuvres we had here, like that's going to be my dinner. I don't have any more funding left. My grant has run out. Like, I joked, like, I'm going to eat when I get back to Minnesota. And he says, the heck with that. You're going to join us for dinner. And I was like, no crazy places, right? And he was like, nope, just Edge's Steakhouse. You ever been there? Like, no. Nope, haven't been there. And cool, another steak, like happy for a healthy meal and not a greasy burger. Had no perception of what this kind of steakhouse was. This is a steakhouse like I would only go back to in my wildest dreams because of the price of some of it. But that kind of shows the company's priorities are with education. They were taking out some of their people. They're looking at a BricsCAD option. They explained it in the techie world talk about how, like 20 years ago, they were the first ones to take AutoCAD and use this style, blend with it. Now they're the first ones with BricsCAD. The BricsCAD people are there. But the head of marketing and the head of sales, we're 20 people, and so we got to take 2 tables, and it was kind of a fiasco. We just showed up, no reservations, but we brought the house, so 20 people, and those 2 people, the head of sales, head of marketing, chose to sit by me. And like, you're not getting any money like directly from me. Hopefully we turn out some cabinet makers that are skilled with Microvellum in the future. But like, man, we just suffered a huge loss, like career all-time low last year with you guys. And it's like, I don't know why you're treating me so well, but that just shows that this company sees a bright future in education, and I'm one of the ones pushing for it. They've hired Mark Smith as their brand ambassador now in his retirement from teaching, which is a great thing because he is the guy. Like, he is the connection point between industry and education. So that was about it. That kind of shut down my night. They had a lot of horror shows about like what has happened to like people off the strip, and not interested in any of that. So I was like, nope, I'm good. Like, you guys walked me back to my hotel. That's great. And one of the guys, he's actually from Wisconsin. He walked me back, and he walked me back a couple blocks further than he had to go. And it's not like I'm a wuss or anything, but like, just 170-pound dude. We're a little bit off the strip, and it's like 10:30 at night. He's like, no, I don't mind walking me back. So that's just the character of these companies that I'm interacting with is so cool. It is not the typical way of the world. It's not the way of the industry. There's a lot of cool things happening in the wood industry. Educators who are at any point related to the wood industry, you have to get out to these shows. You have to put yourselves out there. It's why you went into education, right? I feel like half of my college, like teaching, was writing papers on why you want to be an educator. And it frustrated me because of how much they made us like write about that. But like, seriously, think back to why you got into it. It's not having summers off. It might be a little bit of work-life balance. Like, that's a big reason why I'm not taking some of these offers that companies are sending my way, because I love being home at 3, hang out with my kids, make just enough money to support everybody and keep the house and car and minivan and whatnot. But it is a good profession. And those of you guys who want to improve, like, maybe you schedule Atlanta for your family road trip next year. so you can go to IWF. I'm really hopeful that we can be set up to, my wife can come with next year, but we're also expecting a baby on Christmas Eve, and so we'll see about that. Traveling with a mother and 4 kids is a lot more difficult than just sending me. But if you're a teacher who's not on this like messy middle stage of life that I'm in, like if it's no big deal to get down to these trade shows, like go to them. I would honestly go to way more if it's not like they're holding me back. Like I'm very happy to go. In fact, a lot of times I'm like leaving for the airport and I'm just like on the verge of tears because I'm gonna miss them so bad. I love my kids. If my kids are ever listening to this in the future, like I love you guys. I hate leaving when I'm at home, even though I love this stuff professionally. It's just that stretch that we all make, right? I'm not unique in this. It's the professional thing. But I'm gonna sign off here. Thank you, Safety Speeds, our sponsor. This podcast. In the future, look for some shorter podcasts. I'm looking forward to shortening these up quite a bit. That was my show on AWFS. Please make sure you give me a like, follow, rate, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Thank you all.